In talking about the federal bureaucracy, you're also talking about the people that are making up those individual agencies and really the lower levels of these agencies and the jobs that they are receiving. As the bureaucracy has grown, it has been more important that the people that are making up those positions are free from political influence. So the way that the bureaucracy first started working was under Andrew Jackson, and he's mostly known for this. It was a system of patronage, and basically every time a president would come in, then they could have people kind of to the victor goes the spoils. They could have people that worked in their agencies that were more their friends or their political appointments, like political allies or whatever. And in theory, it's a good thing because that means that the president has people that are loyal to him and working on his behalf. However, at the same time, there led to be a lot of incompetence and corruption because people were holding these positions that were there simply because they politically supported the president and were not doing things that were helping the country, was more worried about helping the particular president. So ever since then, and really during the Civil War, we tried to change that to allow for the civil service of our country to be much more in line with helping people and not helping politicians. So the first act of this was the Pendleton Civil Service Act, which established a civil service commission. Now in a position for, let's say, the lower levels, the entry level of a IRS office, the person who gets the job is going to be the person that deserves the job the most. Oftentimes these positions you're going to need to take a test to demonstrate competency. But it is not going to be based on who you voted for or who you politically supported. It's going to be more with who is best for that particular task because of the nature of the jobs of the bureaucracy. In 1939, we passed the Hatch Act, which banned all political activity by a bureaucrat while on duty. So that has gone even to today, where if a person is in uniform, if a person is using a government car, if a person is on the clock using government emails, they are not to be doing any political activity of any kind. They can't be using their position in a building to foster some sort of stance politically. This law does exempt the president and the vice president from doing so, but there are other restrictions that they have. And then finally, in 1978, we've had an updated Civil Service Reform Act where we created the Office of Personnel Management. Typically, this is not something that's going to show up on an essay at the end of the year, but it is something that I just want you to be aware of as you go through and study the bureaucracy, because there were some issues recently and some questions of what role the bureaucracy should play. In theory, the bureaucracy's job is to carry out the laws and to regulate. The checks on the president come from the Congress and the Supreme Court. But some people make the argument that the bureaucracy, if they see something wrong in the form of a whistleblower, should be able to check the president or get information out there. So the bureaucracy has come under fire, under debate recently in terms of their roles in the administration. But just to give you an idea of what we're talking about when we talk about civil service and what these bureaucratic employees can do when it comes to politics.